Hello, everyone. I'm Miah with all the latest news and politics. Let's get started. The Supreme Court ruled that former President Trump can remain on Colorado's ballot this election. After the Colorado State Supreme Court ruled that Trump was ineligible to run for president due to his role on the January 6th, the court claimed that according to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, Trump would no longer qualify to run for office because of his role in the breach at the Capitol back in 2021. The Supreme Court came to a unanimous decision allowing Trump to remain on the Colorado ballot. The court concluded that Section 3 only allows states to disqualify someone from running for state office. The states cannot enforce Section 3 for federal offices. With the presidential election only 8 months away, it appears that Trump will not only remain on Colorado ballots, but ballots across the nation as the Republican nominee for 2024. Now, this week, Colorado House Republicans moved to impeach Colorado Secretary of State Jena Griswold after the Supreme Court ruling. Now, in a bold move, Colorado House minority leaders have put forward a demand aimed squarely at Democratic House Speaker Julie McCluskey. Their call is to expedite a resolution for the impeachment of Secretary Griswold, citing what they perceive as her failure to execute her duties impartially due to her partisan political ideology. Griswold drew criticism from Republicans for her vocal support of the December ruling by the Colorado Supreme Court that resulted in the removal of Trump from the state ballot. The lawsuit behind this ruling was filed by a Republican and unaffiliated voters who alleged that Trump, as a former president, was ineligible due to his alleged involvement in the January 6th insurrection. Now, this was a big week in politics as we saw over a dozen states vote in the Democratic and Republican primaries. And although the winning candidates were all but a foregone conclusion, there's still many implications for the coming election. Our reporters Noah Block and Alex Petrich teamed up to get the story.
In either February or March of every presidential election year, there is a day known as Super Tuesday, on which the most states vote of any single day in the primaries of the two major parties. It's been going on since the 1980s at least, and while it varies quite a bit which states participate, it has become an enormously significant step on the road to the nomination.
That's right. This past Tuesday, 16 states and territories voted in either the Republican primary, the Democratic primary, or in most cases both, including Colorado. We talked with Dr. Robert Preuss about what the results from Tuesday mean for the race to the White House going forward.
No state wants to be left out of the influence of a presidential primary, right? All of them want a voice, they want attention, and they want the campaigns to visit them. And it gives a lot of momentum, almost exclusively determines who will be the nominee for each respective party.
Though this certainly sounds like a redux of 2020, there's always a chance of something unusual happening at the party conventions this summer, whether it be because of President Biden's record-setting age at the time of his inauguration, or the myriad of legal troubles that Donald Trump continues to face.
And so, for instance, if you take the Democrats and President Biden, it is possible for him to withdraw at the national convention, release the delegates that were committed to him, and then they are able to determine and vote for a different candidate. That's probably not going to happen. And if it did, most likely President Biden would choose a successor, and those delegates that are committed to him would vote for that successor. But that said, that's really unlikely. I think when you look at the results overall, one part of that narrative is Biden not to respond, and he needs to worry about turnout in particular. I don't think he needs to worry about folks switching votes to Trump. But Trump needs to worry as well, and his worry is probably less about turnout. He's going to be able to turn out his base, but he needs to worry about where those Haley voters are going to go, and a lot of them potentially could be independents, particularly in some of these states that allowed independents to vote in the primaries. Traditionally, this election year State of the Union address is a listing of accomplishments, reaching out to independents, right, to make sure that they understand what those accomplishments are, how they benefit the country. Look at discussions about the economics, right? Look at discussions about the infrastructure bill. Look at discussions about progress being made on the domestic front. I think those are going to be the big messages, as well as perhaps some contrasting, right? In anticipation of the election, with issues of immigration, issues of gay rights, issues of abortion that may be part of that speech as well.
Whatever the case, we will be there to keep you all updated on this historic competition from now until Election Day on November 5th. For the Met Report, I'm Alex Petrich.
And I'm Noah Block.
And finally, last night, President Joe Biden delivered the final State of the Union of his first term. The president's speech to Congress touted his economic achievements, took aim at his predecessor Donald Trump, emphasized the need for immigration reform, and highlighted the U.S.'s involvement in foreign conflicts, mainly Ukraine and Palestine. With the Democratic nomination all but secure for the President Biden, the speech acted as an agenda for a possible second term, with the presidential election only 8 months away.